Hey guys, sorry I can't be there today, but I wanted to kind of stay with you guys, help you a little bit along this process. Today is going to be about using note cards in research. We would use note cards in research to keep track of our sources to make sure that we are not plagiarizing. We know whose information we're using to make sure that we don't accidentally help us in the long run. So here you guys can see that I have 4 note cards set out on my desk. These 4 note cards are going to contain the information that I am then going to put towards creating my museum exhibit. So now that I have my note cards, there's a couple things that I should be putting on my note card. The first thing would be the title of the web page that I'm visiting. The second thing would be the location, the URL of that web page. The third thing would be the author of the web page, if one is given, and we'll talk about that. The date published, if one is given. The date accessed, that's whatever day you go and visit that site. Right? One fact from that site. What is the important detail that you're going to pull out of that site? And finally, what source number? So if you use the same source for the first 3, those are all going to be from source 1. So if you miswrite something or something just slightly changes when you go back to visit it, you still know that it's this original source, and you only have to put one spot on the works cited page for that. That's why we take these notes, is to make our lives a little bit easier later on. So I have found a source. I went to Google and I looked for a credible source, and I found a Smithsonian Magazine article entitled "The Cherokees versus Andrew Jackson." As you can see, the title is located right there. All right. So what's the next step? The next step is to get that down on our note card. So once you find the title of that web page that you're thinking of using for your source, it should go near the top of your note card. So as you can see, I wrote title, "The Cherokees v. Andrew Jackson," the title of the web page that I found. The next step is to find the URL of the page that you're visiting. Depending on the browser that you're using, the URL will likely be located near the top. As you can see here in Google Chrome, the URL is located here at the top. So it's our duty to very carefully copy this down. If we only copy down this first part here, it's going to take us to the Smithsonian Magazine's front page, which would mean that we'd have to search for this article again later. The easiest thing to do is just make sure that we copy the whole thing down the very first time. The next step would then be to locate the date of publishment and the author. So as you can see, right here we have the author on top, where it was published, and when it was published for the first time. It's very helpful. If we choose sources that have this, it makes our lives a whole lot easier as we go forward. As you guys can see, I now have found the title, put that on my note card, was very careful to copy down the URL so I know where to get it. If I only wrote the first part, again, I'd have to research that site for it. Next, I know the author. Now, a lot of websites will not list an author, and that's okay. Remember, in circumstances like that, all you have to do is put "no author given." Same goes for the date published. Not all websites are going to give you a nice publishing date of when that article or that information came out. Put "no published date given" if it's not listed. Now, the date accessed, you guys can all know that because all you have to do is look at the calendar, look at the board in the classroom, look at the lower part of the computer where it tells you the actual date that you are working on. All right, just put that there. As you can see, I put March 7th. I worked on this last night. All right, moving on. What do we do next? So now that I have found my article, I've copied the URL, I know the author, I know when it was published, and I know when I accessed it, it's time for me to locate the fact. So at the bottom, I use my quotation marks because these are Mr. Hicks' words, not my words, but Mr. Hicks' quote said, "Jackson was told stories of Indian violence against settlers." This is an excellent starting point for me in my project. Now I can critically think of why Jackson would have this inclination to remove Indians from lands in the United States, and it could probably date back to something about his stories as a young boy in Tennessee. So now I know this. I know this for sure. It's a fact that Mr. Hicks has listed. I mark it with the source number. It's my first source. And I'm ready to go. Time to find my second, my third, my fourth. Now, if I choose to do more than one piece of information from this article, the Cherokees versus Andrew Jackson, it's still going to say source number 1. And what I can do is I can put a number up in the corner of the note card saying this is your first fact from source number 1, or this is your first fact from source number 2, or whatever you guys want to do. It's really up to you. Just trying to help you out here, making sure that you guys are staying organized. It's going to make life so much easier. So while I'm out today, guys,
and on Monday, guys,
you
have a couple quick,
finish those
simple,
proposal sheets.
easy
Now we can't
tasks
sit down for a
to get
meeting.
going,
What I can do is
and then
kind
you
of
have
briefly
start your
approve you
research.
over an email.
First thing I want you guys to do is finish up your proposals.
We may alter a couple things, but I
and
don't want to
email
stop
me
you guys from
the
doing
information.
research.
On
So,
that email, be sure
when
to
you email me,
include
use
your
my
group
email
members,
address
the
here.
topic you wish to do,
It'll go right to
and the
my
major
phone. It's
outcomes.
gonna go right to my
I'll be
iPad.
connected
It'll go right to my computer. No matter
this
where I
entire
am, I'm
time. It'll
going
be a
to
couple
get that
hours on
email.
Monday. I won't be connected,
Next,
and when I'm
you want to
driving
make sure that you
my
include
car,
the following information.
I won't be
I
connected.
need to know your
But
group
other than that,
members,
guys,
if
I will
any.
be
Again,
connected
you're
and will
welcome
be
to
able
work by
to give
yourself.
you the thumbs
And
up or the
keep in
thumbs
mind that
down.
if you decide
I'll
to
press
work
you
with
for more
2,
information
3,
when I
4
first
people,
get that email.
all right,
What
I'm
I want
going
to do
to
is
be
give you the green light.
expecting
The green light is
a
important
higher
because if I
quality
give you
project
guys the
because
green
you have
light,
more
what
hands,
that means is that you
more
guys can
eyes,
start doing
and
some
more
research.
brain working on that.
All
Next,
right,
I
I
need
ask
know
you
your
to
topic.
do light research before you get the green
If you
light,
don't tell
just
me
in
the topic,
case something
can't
changes
approve it.
or
I'll send you
something.
right
I don't
back
want
an
you
email
guys
that
too
says,
deep
hey,
in,
what's
and
the
then to
topic,
be
guys?
angry that you're
And
doing
third,
more.
final
I just want
thing
you guys to
is,
start with
what
some
do you
light
want to
research.
do? If you're planning
Once you
on
get the
making a
green
full
light, once I
life-size
approve you and say,
canoe,
okay,
or
well, we're going to
you
do that,
want
but
to
we're going
do
to also
an
sit down on
exhibit
Tuesday
about
to talk
weapons
it out a
on the
little bit
frontier,
more.
or you
I want
to
you
do
guys
the
to
Oregon
begin using
Trail
the
and
note
build a
cards to
wagon
gather your facts.
that people
I
would
think it's
travel
really
in.
important that we
I need
use
to know.
these.
I need to make
I
sure
want
that
you
we
guys
are
to begin
doing
doing
what
this
is
because
going to
come
be
Wednesday, March
absolutely
13th,
best in order for you
you
guys to
need
get
to
done.
have at least 5
Right?
proper
So
note card
begin
facts
doing some
based
light
on your
research while you
project.
await this green light
So
that
if
I'm
you guys
going
have
to give
any
you.
questions,
If I give you guys
again,
the green
please
light,
be sure
you guys
to
will
email me
know
at any
as soon as I
time.
get it. Keep in mind
Right?
that I cannot.
If you're going to email your
operate a motor
proposals, I
vehicle
need group members,
and
topic,
send an
and
email
major
at the same
outcome.
time. So when
I
I'm
want you
driving
guys
my
to
kids
start
over,
light on the
I'm not gonna be
research
available
first
for that.
until you get a
All
green
right? But
thumbs
feel free
up.
to shoot me an email.
Right?
As
And
soon
begin
as I
that
stop,
note card
as soon
thing.
as
You
I
need
slow down,
5
as soon as
on
I'm out of the
Wednesday,
car,
March 13th.
one's coming right back.
And that'll
at
be
you.
worth 50
All right, so
points.
get that green light.
Now,
Start doing
you
a
guys
little
have
research.
questions,
I'm not
again,
asking for a
email
whole
me,
lot here.
please.
Just,
All right? I want to thank you
to
guys
get
for your
going.
understanding.
Finally, begin
And
to
I
use the
look
note cards
forward
when you're
to
doing this
sitting down
research. All
for
right, the note
proposal
cards
meetings
are
with
going
you
to be
guys on
important come
Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Enjoy your weekend.
The 13th.